April 1st, 2022, and this is the Washington Times front page. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. President Biden is directing the release of 1 million barrels of oil per day from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, his most aggressive bid yet to combat high gas prices. Jeff Murdoch and Ramsey Touchberry report the president plans to release about 180 million barrels from the reserve over the next 6 months. That would bring the reserve to roughly 388 million barrels, its lowest level since March 1984. Biden said the move could reduce what Americans pay at the pump from 10 to 35 cents a gallon, but he was vague about when consumers could see that decrease. Energy market analysts are skeptical that the influx of oil over the next 6 months would have a significant, long-lasting impact on gas prices. A federal judge has struck down portions of Florida's new election law, saying the Sunshine State has acted persistently to deny Black Americans access to voting. Susan Ferricchio reports U.S. District Judge Mark Walker declared most of the law unconstitutional, writing that voting rights in the U.S. are under siege because of racial gerrymandering of congressional districts. He said Florida has repeatedly, recently, and persistently acted to deny Black Floridians access to the franchise. The ruling tossed out limits on when ballot drop boxes could be used, as well as rejecting rules barring people other than poll workers from interacting with voters waiting in line, such as those who hand out food or water. The co-chairman of the independent board charged with refereeing Facebook's censorship decision says the company prevents it from scrutinizing restrictions on the distribution of posts and other actions that are central to censorship on the platform. Michael McConnell, co-chair of Facebook parent Meta's oversight board, told our Ryan Lovelace the company won't let the board review the distribution of content, actions taken against individual accounts, or fact-checking. The board is tasked with reviewing Meta's content moderation, which McConnell described as a synonym for censorship. Whether Meta will allow the oversight board to review downgrading content reach on Facebook and Instagram is an open question. Meta declined to comment on the record. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. Also a reminder to find all of our podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement employees told our Stephen Dinan that the agency installed a suicide prevention app on employees' government-issued smartphones this week. ICE employees said they received an email alerting them that the app was coming. In the email, the acting deputy director of the agency urged employees to report any colleagues they believe are disposed to take their own lives. The app is a customized version of the Columbia Protocol, a suicide prevention tool developed by the Columbia Lighthouse Project. The app poses a series of questions designed to spot troubling mental health and spur awareness. Prominent Arab and Israeli figures say Middle Eastern countries must keep pushing for peace a year and a half after the breakthrough Abraham Accords. Those agreements cleared the path for diplomatic normalization between Israel and several long hostile Arab powers. With Israeli-Palestinian violence spiking this week, Guy Taylor reports the tone of a special online panel discussion attended by Israeli and Arab officials this week was sober. There are, however, still positive signs of peace in the region. Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert praised an Israeli summit Monday where the foreign ministers of Egypt, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Morocco, along with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, promoted further dialogue, urged other Arab countries to join the Abraham Accords framework, and pledged to expand cooperation on energy, environmental, and security matters. And finally, the White House celebrated International Transgender Day of Visibility, announcing administrative changes and firing a warning shot at Republican-led states that are fighting gender inclusion issues. Valerie Richardson reports the changes include a forthcoming X-gender option for passports and a switch from gender-based to gender-neutral airport screenings. Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra took aim at laws opposing inclusion initiatives with a guidance that makes clear that states should use their child welfare systems to advance safety and support for LGBTQI+ youth. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us on any major podcast platform. Just search Washington Times in your favorite podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at WashTimes for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.